If your own family told you to gain the weight back so you wouldn't ruin your sister's wedding, would you go, stay home, or burn it all down on the spot? Because that's exactly what happened to her. Mocked for her weight since childhood, she finally showed up slimmer to her sister's wedding. And her family's first reaction was not pride, not concern, but demands that she go back to how she was. They weren't used to her taking up space on her own terms. This is the story of a girl taught her whole life to shrink. As a kid, the lens always seemed to close in on her. Big for your age jokes turned into full-on targets. While other kids sprinted across the playground, she learned the choreography of invisibility. Eyes down, books as shields, routes mapped to avoid impact. The cafeteria was a stage where she never auditioned, but always got the lead role in Humiliation. An overloaded tray, a joking foot, food and milk across her clothes while the room erupted. She looked for her sister's face in the crowd, hoping for backup. She found another laugh added to the chorus. At home, she asked for help. "Teenagers tease," her mother said. "Grow a thicker skin," her father added. And then the bonus line. "If you lost some weight, it would be easier." The message was clear. Pain would not be solved by protection or accountability. Pain would be solved by shrinking. Her sister, just 1 year younger, lit up every room she walked into. Popular in a week, effortless charm. The older sister tried to believe they were a team, until the whispered nicknames, the digs disguised as jokes, the "just kidding, don't be so sensitive" comments made the truth impossible to ignore. Then came the sabotage. Assignments lost, files mysteriously gone, printed projects missing, pages torn. For years, she blamed herself. Later, in a blur of family laughter and too much wine, her sister confessed with a smile. "Oh my God, I deleted your homework on purpose back then. You were just so serious." It was told like a cute story. There was no apology. She got out. A scholarship took her far enough away to build a life without the fat sister and the brainiac labels. At university, she met people who saw a person instead of a problem. Later, in a mid-sized city, she coordinated office tasks and collected tiny freedoms. Furniture that was hers, dishes that were hers, a routine that was hers. Distance turned the family chaos into something she could mute, until one phone call turned the volume back up. Her sister was engaged, the family was ecstatic, and they had expectations. The script dropped like it had been waiting in a drawer. "Are you seeing anyone? You've put on more weight. Men can be shallow, you know. The wedding has a certain aesthetic. Certain colors will clash. Plus ones won't be accommodated. Maybe sit farther back so the focus is really on the couple." These weren't suggestions. They were instructions. She hung up, sat in her apartment, and felt every childhood rule land on her shoulders. This time, instead of collapsing, she got angry. And anger, for once, turned into action. She found a gym she could afford, bought sneakers that didn't punish her knees, met a trainer named Lena. The first session was brutal. Mirrors everywhere reflected a body she'd been taught to hate. But Lena didn't clap for self-destruction. "You're here," she said. "That's what matters. You're stronger than you think. You don't have to destroy yourself." Weeks stretched into months. The scale moved slowly, then quickly, then slowly again. Stairs felt different. Joints ached less. She gave away old shirts and bought jeans that buttoned without a struggle on the bedroom floor. Her body changed, but something bigger did too. She stood taller, met people's eyes, started saying no. Then came the pre-wedding lunch. She walked in wearing jeans that fit and a soft green top she actually liked. Her mother froze. Her father stared. Her sister poked her arm like produce and gave a compliment that sounded like a diagnosis. "How much did you lose? What are you eating? How often do you go? What's your trainer's name?" The meal turned into a panel discussion about her body, and then the angle shifted. "She's changed the balance of the pictures. The attention might drift from the bride." Suggestions slid into demands. "Tone down your makeup. Simpler hairstyle. No fitted clothing. Skip some of the official family photos. Sit further back during the ceremony." Years of instructions compressed into one afternoon. She put her fork down. "No," she said. No to being edited out. No to rearranging herself like furniture. No to back rows built for disappearing. If she came, she would come as herself, or she would not come at all. She didn't scream. She didn't throw plates. She just solidified. The wedding day arrived. She wore a deep blue dress that made her feel strong instead of small. She sat where siblings sit. An aunt, quiet ally, long-time observer, hugged her and whispered, "You look incredible." Cousins smiled. She ate cake without apology. For pieces of the night, joy actually belonged to her. Then came the twist. Days later, a message from the groom. He called their sister rivalry hot. Wondered what it would be like to be with the other sister. He wanted a secret. Her. Disgust came first, then a familiar cold clarity. She took screenshots, blocked him. She didn't rush to light a match in a house that would blame her for the fire. Months passed. Then the frantic call from her mother. "He cheated. Your sister's back home. He says some of the messages were with you. Do you know anything about that?" She answered with calm truth. "Yes. He messaged me days after the wedding. I blocked him. I kept the proof." While her mother hunted for angles, she sent the screenshots to the family group chat. Every word, time-stamped, undeniable. Her father said he had no idea. Her mother wrote paragraphs about complicated feelings and how, if you'd told us sooner. Her sister sent one line. "Stay away from me." Then came silence, and for the first time, the silence felt like it belonged to her. She went to therapy. In a quiet office with a box of tissues, she told the story from cafeteria milk spills to wedding rules to late-night messages. When she apologized for talking too much, the therapist stopped her. "You don't have to apologize for existing in your own story." They talked about boundaries as daily practice, delayed replies, changing the subject, saying, "I'm not available," without a 5-paragraph essay. They unpacked jealousy, not as petty envy, but as a longing for safety, a longing for a world that would defend her when she was hurt, instead of blaming her for reacting. Life moved forward. At work, when her boss dropped a urgent task 5 minutes before closing, she said, "I can give this 30 minutes, then I have plans." Her plans were quiet. A workout, a book, a show, but they counted. A coworker noticed she seemed less apologetic about existing. The change looked small on the outside. Inside, it was seismic. She tried dating slowly. She met someone who listened without trying to fix her like a project. They argued over pasta sauce in a grocery aisle and watched movies with their legs touching on a couch that finally felt like home. She didn't introduce him to her parents, not out of spite, out of protection. Some things, this time, would stay hers. Holidays shifted too. Instead of guilt and appearances, they became potlucks with friends, card games, loud debates about cheesy films. Her phone sat face down. Later, she replied with a simple, "Hope you had a good day." No apology, no essay. A boundary held in one plain sentence. Some mornings, the past still reached for her. She could see the teenager standing in a cafeteria with milk dripping down her shirt while the room laughed and her sister joined in. She couldn't go back and rescue that girl, but she could choose differently now. When life tried to knock her tray again, she could pick it up, wipe off the mess, and walk to another table. And this time, choose who sits with her. Her parents kept telling their version, loving but strict, sensitive daughter who pulled away, a sister framed as pure victim of a cheating husband and a jealous older sibling. She stopped trying to cross-examine them into understanding. Instead, she built a life where her worth was not a before and after photo, not a number, not a dress size, not a role in someone else's story. She lifted weights with Lena and focused on what her body could do, not what it looked like under someone else's gaze. She sent memes, watered plants, curled up with a man who didn't need her smaller to feel bigger. Creaky floors and all, the apartment felt fully hers. In the end, they spent years trying to crop her out of the perfect family portrait. She found a third option. Make her own picture. Not framed on their walls, but living in quiet, ordinary moments. In the sound of her own voice saying no. In the choice to take up the space that officers belonged to her. She was never the problem to manage. She was always the person to respect. So here's where I turn it to you. If your family tried to control your body for someone else's big day, would you still go to that wedding? Would you show up smaller, show up as you are, or not show up at all? Drop your honest answer in the comments. No judgment, just real talk. And if stories like this make you ask, wait, is it just me? Hit subscribe to the Is It Just Me channel so you don't miss the next story.